And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Hope everybody had a great 4th of July holiday weekend. Mother Nature cooperated. Outside of a few stronger storms in Lakes Country on Saturday, the weather turned out to be pretty good. And there's more storms in the forecast as we head into this evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki, along with our Ag Director, Bridgette Readel. How was your 4th there, Bridgette?
I think a lot of people saw a lot of heat this week, which I had a number of comments about. How's our corn look right now? Western Cass County, so like the Page area, I saw a number of rolled up leaves. I don't think it started to pineapple yet, but we do know that there are certain areas, especially if you have sandier hilltops with less organic matter, you're probably seeing some droughty looking conditions.
How was how about reports of from last week when we had the hail in South Fargo over in the Moorhead areas?
We have greater concern. What's been going on? I shouldn't say we have greater concern. It's a concern everywhere when it happens. North of Devil's Lake, you look at like Leeds, they had hail for 45 minutes. So we've got some pretty tragic looking crop up there. A lot of grain, overall, any crop underwater, because of all the heavy rain, anywhere from 7 to 3.5 inches of rain that fell within a week's period. Some of that was happening in one night. So I think there's a lot of crop that doesn't look as great.
Wow. I was down in the cities, and boy, the corn down there, it's got to be at least 5 feet high.
Oh, we bypassed the knee-high by 4th of July.
Oh, yeah.
Totally blew that.
It's really doing good down south. But for our area, there is a chance for severe storms as we head into late this afternoon and also this evening. We've got storms that are going to be lining up on a cold front. And now, right now, there's a few scattered storms out there, one right around the Wimbledon area. It's non-severe, but could have a brief downpour with it. And then there's a few light spotty showers that are approaching the valley. But again, nothing severe. This is well out in advance of what is expected to develop here as we head into anytime after about 4 o'clock. We're expected a line of storms to develop up around the Grand Forks area as a cold front dips south out of southern Canada. And as it does, it's going to slam into this heat and humidity, and a lot of ingredients are there for severe weather. Expected around the FM area between about 5 and 8 o'clock tonight, and then that will push south into southern Lakes Country. It's all out of here by about 11 o'clock, midnight at the very latest. And there is a chance that the majority of this lines up east of the valley into Lakes Country. But I think Fargo is going to be right on the western edge of this, so something we're keeping an eye on. Again, after about 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock here in the FM area. And as that pushes south, the main threat is going to be large hail, unfortunately, and damaging winds. It's going to be quick enough moving where I'm not expecting, there could be some pockets of heavy rain, but more of a wind and hail threat with this. Then the rest of the night looks pretty quiet. We'll dip down into the mid-60s. And tomorrow we'll start off with partly cloudy skies, but then we're going to see more showers and a few thunderstorms coming in from the west as we head towards evening. Could get some heavy rainfall tomorrow night in some areas. Not what we want to hear. Some areas do need it. I was talking to one of our farmers up in Buxton. He goes, we could use a drink of water. He said it's been a little bit dry up there. So I think tomorrow night's our best chance for a more widespread rain. And then hopefully we all get a little bit of rain, because the heat and humidity, we have the hottest weather of the season coming in so far this summer for next weekend. Our hottest temperature so far was oddly back at the end of May, where we were 96 on the 26th of May. So that's where we had, I believe, a stretch of 5 days of mid-90s. So it looks like we'll easily get in the upper 90s for the latter part of the weekend. It'll last a couple of days before we temper it back just a bit, but some storms this afternoon into the evening, and then areas of potentially heavy rain tomorrow night. Then we shut the faucet off and we heat things up for the weekend. So typical summer-like weather, I guess you could say.
Yeah, this is not a surprise what we'll see in July, and warm nights where we'll continue to see a lot more growth throughout the evenings. Now, for those of you who have our WDAY weather rain gauges, or you want to share what's been happening weather locally for you, you can reach us on the JLA Insurance phone line, 701-293-9000. We are taking your emails, weather or ag at flagfamily.com. And Lighthouse Commodities has so graciously provided our live stream, which many of you take advantage of. You can watch it just like television, and you can do that on Facebook, YouTube, as well as Acres TV. Now, I do have a congratulations to Iowa and Illinois. You are more humid than the Amazon rainforest. As a weather guy, tell me what you think. You could blame the corn. A single acre of mature corn this time of year can evapotranspirate or sweat.
Corn sweat, that's what they call it.
3 to 4,000 gallons of water per day. This moisture festers in the lower atmosphere, making the heat index values unbearable.
Mm-hmm.
Dew points could reach 80 degrees. Lucky you. Each cubic meter of air is holding more than a half a shot glass worth of water. So for comparison, the highest dew point found in the Amazon was 79 degrees. So yes, parts of Iowa and Illinois are more humid.
Yeah, corn sweat gets real this time of the year.
It's incredibly real.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, this sucks to be all. I mean, I know I have to go down to Boone, Iowa in early September. Well, I don't have to, but there's a potential I will. Even going to Baltic, South Dakota at the end of July. There's a lot of corn. It's a lot of hot.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says.
That's when you want the cold front to come through.
Not built for heat. I had a conversation over lunch with some folks why we will never have Arizona homes. We're good here. We need this cooler weather. We're okay. So speaking of things that we may or may not need, for those of you who regularly spray your fields, there's a new software that could be very helpful. The EPA has following the Endangered Species Act more than it ever did. And the Endangered Species Act tells us that there can be endangered species, whether plants or animals, in a variety of places around the country. So, for instance, Minnesota has a long-eared bat. North Dakota has a fringed prairie orchid. That's why I have to say that slowly. Fringed prairie orchid. And you can't be spraying those endangered species. So how do you know where they are? How do you know what your buffer zones should be? How do you know some of these distinct lines that need to be drawn? There's a new software out called Acres Blitz. So Acre Blitz will help you to do some of that. One, they've got 2 different products for customers, and they are designed to work together to connect the grower with the applicator. The first one is called ESA Check API. Boy, that's a lot of letters, but I can help you with that if you email me about it. It is a turnkey solution that requires retailers, cooperatives, and other ag software providers to connect directly to manage EPA compliance for the Endangered Species Act. It allows customers to send application or recommendation records and information associated with it. There, the system calculates their mitigation points and drift buffers. The second product is called an ESA Field Exchange, and that's where you as the grower comes in. You can import all your field information, see how many runoff points you have based on the field characteristics. You can add additional mitigations and create a runoff report for your farm. So there is a point where these two can connect, and they can make it much easier on your farm to follow the rules that go along with the Endangered Species Act that we've had it in place since the 70s. It's just been within probably the last 5 or 6 years that we've gotten much better about following what's going on and paying more attention.
Okay.
It hadn't before. We necessarily hadn't paid as much attention to it as we could. So that's just one of the things that's going on today. We are also going to be joined by interns today who are with My AgData. They're spending their summer helping you as farmers report your acreage to FSA, to the crop insurance agencies, and so much more. We're going to find out what they have been doing, how they've been doing it, and where they're going in the future when we return with a livestock report update from the American Ag Network. It's hot out, but that's okay. You can still find ways to be healthy and happy. And one of the ways that you can do that is by making sure you take advantage of what's going on over at the Hot Tub and Sauna Store. So if you want to feel amazing every day, discover the wellness you deserve at the Hot Tub and Sauna Store in West Fargo. They have Caldera spas. Those are hot tubs built for comfort, super energy efficient, easy saltwater maintenance. And if you want to step up those health benefits, look at one of those Finleo saunas. You can drain, detox, and really relax at home. So go check them out. That is the Hot Tub and Sauna Store, living the life you love, next to Costco. And honestly, there are more people in Costco in Fargo than there are in China. So you might want to detox and relax after being in that neighborhood anyway.
Those hot tubs are so comfortable. The saltwater ones as well. It's like you said, easy maintenance. So much easier than when you had to use all those chemicals and putting all that stuff in there.
I don't know. I just drive by that whole situation over there and figure the only way to live in that region because of Costco, God bless them, they run a great business model. You need a hot tub to relax after you did that.
No doubt.
All right. Those who don't relax, those are summer interns. I love having interns on. Throughout my career, I've had probably about 80 interns and trainees over the years. And today we get to talk to somebody else's interns, and that is with My AgData. We are joined by their summer interns, Haylee Frizzell, Kaiden Blanchard, and Tyler Huesers. Tyler, did I say your last name right?
Huesers.
Huesers, not Hoosiers. If it's Hoosiers, does that mean you play better basketball?
Maybe.
What do you mean maybe? Just go with it. All right, so Tyler, you're the first guy to talk. Tell us about My AgData. What do you do all summer long?
Yeah, so all summer long, I'm making reports for these farmers, trying to help save them some money on their insurance premiums and also save them a little bit of a headache at the FSA office.
How?
So, a farmer's got to go into the FSA office and they got to bust out their coloring books and start drawing all of their fields out. Well, with us, they can kind of skip that process. We can handle all of that on our computers and then send it over to the office for them. And then all they need to do is verify, make sure we did it all correct, and then go and sign off on it for us.
So I like the way he says you break out your coloring books, because this is how it works. If you're a farmer and you need to certify your acres at the FSA office, and you need to make sure that they have your accurate planted acres for farm programs and so much more, they use surety maps. And those maps literally require you to go in and draw on the maps what your acreages are. Now, I'm going to ask Haylee, how accurate are those maps when farmers do that?
Not very accurate in most cases. We've seen generally up to like a 13% difference on a 1,500 acre farm.
Wow. Why is that?
The boundaries are old and they were hand drawn to begin with and then uploaded electronically, and most of them have not been redone since the 70s.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And they vary every year, right?
Definitely. Where are your wet spots? And did you take out a tree? Did you remove an old homestead? All of those things.
And when you say that, it's because the land topographically changes. So maybe you had an extra 3 or 4 acres that you didn't have last year. And how did you get them? So it does make a pretty big difference. So when you talk about how those maps change, Kaiden, when you are looking at your maps, when you are helping these farmers, walk me through the process. You call a farmer. What do you do with that person in order to help them get the most accurate information possible transferred over to the Farm Service Agency?
Yeah, for sure. We want to make sure they have confidence throughout the whole process. We really just want to make sure any of their data, the farming data, acreage plotting data, and their CLUs, they just get properly processed through us, and we work alongside their given data that we have, and we just survey the boundaries efficiently, make sure the field boundaries are properly managed, and just make sure they are confident throughout the whole process of the newly automated system we offer.
When you're offering the system, Are you on the phone with them getting their information, Kaiden, or is there a way that they can transfer from what happened in the tractor when they actually planted this spring versus someone just saying, all right, section 120, or, Northwest 122, section 8, or section 8, the Northwest quarter. How do you actually get the right information?
Yeah, so we work with the FSA offices and the farmers themselves to take their given OEM data, whether that's the process they use being John Deere, Field Precision. We take their data directly. We can take their data directly from their farming software that they're using while they're plotting their farms, and just completely work based off of the field boundaries we get through that.
As you're doing that, as you're thinking about bringing that data in, what if I don't have John Deere equipment? I have something other than John Deere.
Yeah, we offer a wide variety of opportunities to like do managed services for the farmers given data. Um, Whether if they don't have given OEM data equipment like through John Deere, etc., we can also work alongside the offices to get their CLUs, or we can just go on their given uh, acreage plant and just directly add it in ourselves based on their counties.
So it really doesn't matter. You're colorblind as to the
Yeah.
equipment that they're using.
Mm-hmm.
Haylee, this isn't your first year working for My AgData, right?
No, this is my second year. So I was here last summer as well.
Have you found some stumbling blocks with farmers who maybe have slightly older equipment? And have you been able to help coach them through some of the pitfalls of getting that information to the FSA and crop insurance?
Definitely. I did my family's report this year as my intern project, and we don't have any precision data. So I kind of like working with those people just because I'm used to it. And CLUs are always a great fallback. But a lot of the time, you can also see the differences in the topography, and you're able to draw a boundary around things that should be included or shouldn't be based off of that.
And Tyler, how many farmers are signed up for My AgData?
I couldn't tell you the exact number of how many growers we have. I would have to pull that from somewhere, have somebody pull it. But we are nationwide, and we have a handful of growers all over the nation, a good handful, but I don't have an exact number.
Okay.
I think we could talk in acres. And we know that they're on probably 1.5 million acres across the U.S.
Wow.
So there's still room for growth, but there's been a great uptick in farmers saying, you know what, I want some accuracy, because when we get that much more accurate, we have an opportunity to look at that information and say, so those are my actual planted acres. Well, when I want to plan for seed, I can be much more accurate, because honestly, if you over plan 5-10 acres of seed, that's a lot of money when you're talking, $400 a bag on seed corn.
Yeah, it's up.
And so with input costs at the way they are, it really does matter to be as accurate as we can. And farmers don't want to overpay, whether it's for inputs, for crop insurance, and so much more. So there's a lot of ways that we can do that. There's still more questions to come. We want to talk about who owns the data. How is it protected when My AgData works with a farmer? Because in this day and age, we so often talk about cybersecurity, and we don't want the loss of our information being transferred out there in the Netherlands of cyber. And we also want to know, who are these interns? We launched into questions with them, but who are they? Where are they from? And why are they working for My AgData this summer? Let's do that when we return from Bottom of the Hour News. And it kicks off tomorrow. Project Safe Sand in Castleton, Tuesday, July 7th. You can get rid of your unusable pesticides. The 2026 collection sites are all 8 a.m. to noon at North Dakota Department of Transportation facilities. Tomorrow is Castleton. Wednesday is Jamestown. Thursday, Bismarck. If you have stuff that you've used in the garden and you don't want to have around anymore, you cleaned out Grandpa's house, and how did he still have some Tordon pellets left? You looked around and somebody found some terribly rotted out cans of Phos toxin, whatever. Get those to Project Safe Sand. Give them a call if you have a large quantity that needs to be dropped off, particularly if you're a commercial user, and have a discussion with them about what you can and can't bring. No paint, no fuels, no kerosene, etc. That's just one of the things that's been going on this week. But also part of this week is talking with interns from My AgData. We are joined by Haylee, Kaiden, and Tyler, and we have a question from Tom to our interns. Tom, how can we help today?
Yeah, so I'm wondering, is there a minimum or a maximum size farm that you guys will do?
I'm going to ask Haylee as our second-year intern on that to answer it, please. Wait, she's muted. We need her to talk.
Haley, you're muted.
Can you just talk now, Haley?
I'm not.
There we go.
Okay.
I bet that was on our end.
Fire away, Haley.
We do not have a minimum or maximum acreage. We are happy to help regardless of how big or how small.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
that probably begs the question, Tom. Well, how would someone pay you? Are there a couple of different options that you offer to farmers?
Definitely. Yeah. So we have two models. One is our self-service model, and that one is $250 per entity that you report. And then we also have our managed services model, which is a lot more like H&R Block, we like to refer to, where we do a lot of the hands-on cleanup, etc. And we do a 50-cent per acre fee for that one.
So
one last quick question. Then, who establishes the boundaries of the property? If some of these are really old, and I've found old boundaries, and they're long ways off. They can be many yards off. Who establishes them, and what do they use? Do they use professional services? What's required to get a true boundary?
For sure. It's definitely easiest if you have precision agriculture data or if your agronomist has drawn boundaries. That's generally where we find those because they're the most accurate. And then we still have to use the CLU boundaries for FSA. But after establishing a new boundary, you can do what they call a reconstitution and get those boundaries redrawn.
Okay. Thank you very much.
thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Now, when we talk about all this data and things that are going on, I do want to ask, so Kaiden, who owns the data? Does My AgData hold on to this? Is it something that farmers are asking you about? What's your reply to that?
We don't share or collect to anyone else, or we make sure that your data is strictly secure within our mainframe completely throughout the whole process. We want to make sure you don't have to worry about your data and acres going in places you wouldn't want it to go. We just make sure that it's secure the whole way through.
Well, we do like that because security matters so very much. And so, Tyler, we visit here frequently about the importance of cybersecurity. Can farmers rest easy knowing that what you're doing to help them through My AgData means that they are very well protected, that their information is not just being downloaded into the dark web somewhere?
Oh yeah, so I got to do my mom's farm as a managed service for my intern project, and one of her biggest concerns was, where's this data going? I reassured her this data is going nowhere but to our system, and after that it goes nowhere else. We don't sell it, like Kaiden mentioned. And then once we have this data, we're not sharing it with the government. I mean, besides what we report to the FSA, but that was my mom's large concern. So the data is pretty secure. It's not going anywhere you don't want it to. It's staying within us.
You know what? If you can sell a product to your parents, that matters. I mean, I remember being an intern as well in college and trying to talk about chemistry on the farm. And my dad was like, I don't know, why would I trust you? Perhaps because you're my father, Dad. That's why. Maybe that had something to do with it. So, Tyler, let's talk a little bit about where you're from, where you go to school, future plans, that type of thing.
So right now I am in about central North Dakota. I'm in Garrison, right between Bismarck and Minot. I am about to go into my senior year up at NDSU. I'm studying agribusiness, and as far as future plans, that's still slightly in the works. I got one more year of school to see where it's going to take me, but I'm open to many different things, and yeah, would love to stay. Well, not love. I'm going to stay in the agricultural industry. It's been a huge part of my life growing up, and I don't want to leave it anytime soon. But what part of the agricultural industry is still on the table?
Oh, so there's a guy for future employers to be thinking about. Maybe you have a place for him. This guy with some experience, right? Never know. Maybe there's somebody listening who says, I should talk to that kid, Kaiden. Or excuse me, Tyler. But then we want to talk to Kaiden next. Kaiden, tell us where you're from, where you're going to school, those types of things.
Yeah, of course. I am from Anoka, Minnesota. I am going to be a senior at the University of Jamestown in North Dakota here, double majoring in business IT and computer science management, and also minoring in database development and cybersecurity. So I'm just through working with the development team of My AgData and just helping secure your data. I'm just hoping that helps set me up well for future business intelligence jobs, etc.
Dean, you seem surprised about his answer.
Geez, all this, like, wow, man, we could barely tackle one major, let alone multiple. Good for you.
Yeah, kids in school these days, really, I would say not lacking for things to
That's
do.
good. That's good
right.
to hear.
So, Haylee, as someone who's returning, give us your background, but also, why did you return for a second year?
For sure. Yeah. So I live in northeastern Washington. I just graduated from South Dakota State. Sorry, Bridgette.
What? I liked you up until this point.
I knew that would happen. So I just graduated from South Dakota State with my degree in agricultural business. And now I am helping my dad farm full-time and ranch. I came back to My AgData just because of their values. I love that they really are dedicated to helping farmers and they care about what they're doing, and everyone is super dedicated, and that's really hard to find.
So of all three of you, as you think about what you've been doing for the summers, what surprised you the most when it came to working with farmers? Or maybe you weren't at all. If you're coming from farm backgrounds, you just thought, no, this is a normal day. Was anybody surprised?
I guess
There's
always...
different.
I'll let
You can
Go
go
ahead, Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler first, then I want Haylee.
All right. So I've always worked with farmers. I used to work at a grain elevator at CHS here in Garrison for the first couple of years. So I'd say the biggest difference is now I'm working with them through the phone, not so much in person and talking to them. The biggest surprise to me is it seems like farmers are always on the phone, but when you actually want them to be on the phone with you, it's a little harder to get them on the phone.
They didn't block your number, but they know your number. I think that's fair. Haylee, how would you answer that as well?
I would say, again, I've grown up around farmers, loggers, the ag industry, and I'm always so surprised at how similar everyone is across the whole country. It doesn't matter where they're at. You can always talk about the weather or how the crop's doing, and they're always, once you get them on the phone, they're always happy to talk to you.
So you guys don't travel. You just do all of this by telecommunications. Okay. I see everybody nodding. Excellent. All right. I will warn you that there are some internships out there where that drive time is a lot. And I always told interns in the past that you be fully aware that we could easily put 5,000 miles on a month on a vehicle. And there were students that said, you know what? I'm done with this summer. I don't want to drive that much again. And that's okay. So to all three of you, thank you for joining us today, sharing what's going on with My AgData, what you're doing, as well as how you are interacting as college students with farmers that are actively farming and what you're thinking about doing in the future. So we greatly appreciate that. Thank you to all three of you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks,
for your
guys.
time.
And coming up, we have just been put under a severe thunderstorm watch for the area, for much of the area until 9 o'clock tonight. I'll run down the details, what we're expecting to develop, all of that coming up right after the break.
Okay.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus, 1:48 in the afternoon, and we have just been put under a severe thunderstorm watch until 9 o'clock tonight. We're expecting storms to develop across the area, generally to the northwest of the FM area by about 3, 4 o'clock, and then slowly move southward towards the FM area and into far western Minnesota there. And again, the main threat with this is going to be large hail and damaging winds. We can't rule out an isolated tornado generally as these storms initially develop. But as we grow further into the late afternoon and early evening, this will become more of a squall line event with damaging winds. So again, a severe thunderstorm watch for the Fargo-Moorhead area. It extends all the way up into Grand Forks, out towards, the Brainerd area, and as far south as the South Dakota border. And again, that's until 9 o'clock tonight. So those storms expected to push into the FM area anytime after about 5 o'clock, between about 5 and 7 o'clock tonight, and then continue their trek south and eastward. And again, the main threat, damaging winds and large hail. And the initial onset of these storms, we could see an isolated tornado or two, but I'm thinking more of a hail and wind threat.
And that hail and wind can shred your U.S. flags. Many of us have them up.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully you are following protocol so that when wind comes up like that, etc., you can bring the flags down. You need to make sure if they're up all the time that they are well lit. And we want to say thank you to Landmark Companies and Geronimo Power for being part of our Flag the Farmer program this year, where we are sending U.S. flags out with American farmers to be posting on their equipment, in their farmyards, or in their shops as well.
Yeah, and after this, again, if you didn't catch it earlier in the show, we're going to have the hottest temperatures so far of the summer, with upper 90s expected by Sunday.
For people who said May was hot, June actually wasn't that warm.
June wasn't. It was just a little bit above normal. But yeah, that end of May was, oof, man. And speaking of, we don't want hail on the corn, obviously.
God, no. There's plenty of hail in other places. Yeah. I heard some guys down east of Sioux Falls, they lost a corn crop last night. Serious hail damage out there.
That's not good. And Bridgette and I were talking off air. I said, this knee-high by the 4th of July stuff, It's always higher than knee-high by the 4th of July. So where did that come from?
Okay, so it really started out actually in about colonial times, because at that point, they had all these rudimentary tools and their genetics weren't nearly as good. So they would plant, and they planted early on, and they hoped that their corn would be that good. That was their indicator that with a 3 to 4 month growing season in many places, that if the corn was knee high by the 4th of July, it was going to be successful. Well, now we're planting corn so much earlier. We saw corn this year being planted in April, and I can probably find some March planted cornfields if I wanted to. So as we've noted, and we also had some listeners who sent messages earlier today, there's a lot of corn that is well past knee high. It's probably more like chest, shoulder height. Totally depends on who that person is. I have been asked to go out to cornfields because my knee is lower than other people. So in drought years, my knee will work better than theirs. But it is very true that we started it just way back when. It probably isn't very current and correct anymore, considering what we've been doing.
Yeah.
It's changed over.
Like you said, genetics are a lot better now too. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've improved so much of what we're doing. But it is still quite historical, and that's what everybody remembers. Now, to add to the fun, later on this season, and I just sent this picture, so hopefully Addison gets a chance to find it. It might take him a minute. Anheuser-Busch, they buy corn, rice, hops, and wheat all over the U.S., barley, all over the U.S., and they use that for their brewing, right? So what they're going to do this year is have a 10-ton, 400-square-foot symbol of that commitment to American fields. It's called the ComBar. It is a combine that has 4 beer taps on it. So Addison's got that picture up on our live stream.
Wow.
It's all decorated up with Anheuser-Busch logos. It will be at a variety of events throughout the year. So you can sidle on up, get yourself a Busch Light, Budweiser, Bud Light, and Michelob Ultra, because those are all sourced from U.S. farms. And so I don't think it's necessarily a working combine anymore. I think the guts are out to make room for the kegs. It will be at the State Fair in Minot this year in North Dakota.
All right.
So if you want to go see the ComBar, you can. It's going to be right here in the state. It will also be celebrated at the Iowa State Fair, as well as Farm Progress Days in Boone, Iowa, September 1st to the 3rd, Husker Harvest Days in mid-September in Grand Island, Nebraska. That usually overlaps our Big Iron. But yeah, the ComBar is headed to those locations.
Good idea.
Yeah, it looks
That's
great.
Good marketing.
Yep. I have a farmer friend in Iowa who a few years ago, he strongly suggested, and then Busch Light let him put a wrap on his combine of the Busch Light label. Then he traded combines. He had to take it off. But it was pretty cool to look at his combine. I will say that. So that's just one of the things that's happening in July. Also, here we are, National Ice Cream Month. No one's going to be upset about that. When it comes to favorite flavors, how do we get them? So this is the second time in a show I'm going to have to give credit to South Dakota State University.
That's painful, isn't it?
It's a little painful. But nonetheless, in 1979, SDSU did, in fact, decide to make the cookies and cream ice cream. That's where it came from. South Dakota State University's Dairy Project. And by 2013, it was named the best ice cream treat in South Dakota by the Food Network magazine. Mint chocolate chip was created in 1973 by a culinary student at South Devon College in England. It was a competition to make an ice cream dessert for Princess Anne's wedding to Captain Mark Phillips at Westminster Abbey. And she named the dessert Mint Royale, and she got a silver cup for her efforts, and then everybody else started to enjoy mint chocolate chip. I raise mint in the garden. I make my own. It's fantastic. Strawberry ice cream is a presidential wonder because the First Lady, Dolly Madison, she was James Madison's wife in 1813. She created strawberry ice cream for the second inaugural banquet at the White House. Some claim that it was Thomas Bladen, the governor of Maryland, who served it as a dessert of frozen strawberries and ice cream to commissioners back in 1774. Doesn't matter. It has its own national holiday on January 15th every year. And here we call it maple nut. If you were in the South, you might call it butter pecan. But that's where it originated, was in the southern states. And then there's chocolate chip cookie dough. Do we all know who made that?
No. Oh.
Now, a little bit of history, because we've been celebrating, the 250th, right? So history is a big part of what we do. And I always look for what's happening in agricultural history. Let's go back in time. If you go from the year 1800 to 2026, what could you buy for $1? Do you remember as a kid when you could buy like a pop and a candy bar for $1?
Oh, easily, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe I had 6 cents for sales tax, right? Because that was a big deal. In 1800, for $1, you could buy a whole flour barrel. That was 130 pounds of flour.
Oof.
130 pounds. 1800.
Wow.
And that would be the equivalent of $26.43 in 2026. Now let's jump ahead to 1850. You could buy a photograph for $1. Okay, so, all right, that seems fairly cool. I need a daguerreotype of myself. Well, if you go to 1920, for $1, you could buy 30 rolls of toilet paper.
Wow.
Where was that in 2020? Everybody was worried about that situation. 1970. Didn't everybody want the box of 120 Crayola crayons? I'm still disappointed I didn't get one as a child.
How many blue ones were in that box?
A lot.
Oh, okay. Well, those are the important ones. Those are the ones that taste the best. So.
Oh, thank you very much.
So I'm told.
That taste the best. Did I hear that right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I've been told by various friends that those are the ones that
You
taste
know
the
you
best.
ate crayons as a kid.
I didn't know.
Uh-huh.
I was a child with high taste. I ate Play-Doh, I'll have you know. I'm going to kill that before
Was
that
that
spreads.
homemade?
I didn't do that either. I
Homemade
didn't have
Play-Doh? Because the homemade Play-Doh did taste pretty salty.
No.
Just a thought. But in 1970, you could buy the 128 box of Crayola crayons with the sharpener for $1. Still never got one when I started kindergarten in 1979. In 2026, today for $1, you can buy a lemon. And that's about it.
I was going to say for $1, you might get escorted out of your local McDonald's.
What did you do?
I tried to buy something for $1.
What did you do? Okay.
We don't want to know. We don't want to know. All right, we want to thank everybody for joining us on Weather and Ag in Focus. Don't go anywhere. The Jay Thomas Show. It's coming up next.